Well, good morning, my friends. Today on Thursday, we're going to read Acts 2 1 through 4. When the day of Pentecost arrived, they were all together in one place. And suddenly there came from heaven a sound like a mighty rushing wind, and it filled the entire house where they were sitting. And divided tongues as of fire appeared to them and rested on each one of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak in other tongues as the Spirit gave them utterance. So this is Pentecost. Now, Pentecost is coming on Sunday, and I had been kind of spinning our wheels until we could get to this story. And so I decided to take it in several pieces and start today so that by Sunday morning you will know everything there is to know about Pentecost. Pentecost is a Jewish festival, and the name of it means 50 days after. It's 50 days after Passover, so it's basically 7 weeks after Easter, and it's an ancient Jewish festival. It happened to be the day that the Spirit came. They're all together in the house, and they're all there, and then suddenly there is a sound like a mighty wind. The prophets do this all the time. If you read the first chapter of Ezekiel, first two chapters, there's all this description of this thing he sees, but everything is like. It's like somebody was wearing boots. It's like somebody was, like cow's feet, which we say, okay, boots. It's like something that was spinning. It's so everything is always like this. They're not sure what they're seeing or experiencing, but they describe it in terms that we civilians, we humans can understand, and so it's like that. So it's like a wind filled the house, and then something like fire rested on each one of them. I've talked about this before. If you go look on the internet for the holy fire, that's what they call it. It's in Jerusalem where the Orthodox priest goes into the tomb of Jesus at midnight on Easter morning, and fire lights his candle, and he walks out, and it jumps from his candle to other candles, and it's this bluish fire it doesn't burn you, so you can kind of play with it. And I'm thinking that's the kind of fire. You can look that up on Google. It's all over the place. But that's the sort of fire, I think, that appeared here. Rested on each of them. And so they're all filled with the Spirit, and they begin to speak in other languages, other tongues. And so they are overpowered by the Holy Spirit, and they get this ability to preach, and they have, it's just pouring out of them. It's like fire, it's like wind, it's like something powerful that we can't really explain, but it was there and it was powerful, and they begin to preach, and they preach in all kinds of languages that they can't possibly know. Okay, in the ancient world, and we're going to look at this at some length tomorrow, but in the ancient world, there's lots of languages, and there weren't language schools like we have, where you can go somewhere and learn French or Spanish or Italian in 6 weeks. This is it, you either grow up there speaking that language or you don't, and they didn't. So these people are completely overpowered by the Spirit and given the ability to preach, and they begin to do that. So this is Pentecost. It's kind of the birthday of the church, some people say. It was the moment that the disciples became empowered and also fearlessly confident. They are no longer scared of the rulers in Jerusalem or anybody else. And this is all the stories that we've been reading in chapter 2, 3, 4, 5 are all about how they were so fearless. And so That is one of the immediate results of Pentecost. The Spirit comes, and sometimes there are signs that the Spirit has come. One of the signs is this speaking in other languages. And as I said, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. But there are other signs. People get certain spiritual gifts and have the ability to do things particularly well without much obvious training. Or where did you learn that? I don't know, but that's kind of how they are and how they do it, and that's what that's a manifestation, if you will, of the Spirit's presence. So today, look for the Spirit in your life. What's the Spirit doing? How is the Spirit leading you? And the Spirit doesn't lead with big, powerful signs and bonk you on the head. The Spirit is very gentle and kind of says, "Come here." Little tiny mumbling directions, and you hear that voice and you say, okay, that's what I should do. Well, that voice is easy to drown out with all the other noise in our lives, in our culture. And so you have to really listen for that voice, but listen for the Spirit and see what you think the Spirit is leading you to do. And then take a deep breath and follow it and see what happens. Okay? And have a great day. We'll see you again tomorrow.